Hello and welcome. I'm Connie Douglas from Great Stamping with Connie. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. It is Thursday morning, and this is Coffee with a Splash of Inspiration. Oh, sometimes words are tough. Coffee with a Splash of Inspiration. So, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have your uh, morning beverage with you and you can enjoy that, or perhaps you're watching this on a replay or in another part of the country or the world, and it's not morning, but anyway, sit back, enjoy a beverage, and we are going to craft. I have an easy to make, cute card. It won't take us very long today, but we'll have a little bit of crafting fun, and hopefully I will inspire you and help you start your day on a happy crafting note. So, cheers. Okay, what do I have to share this morning? Not not a whole lot at this exact moment, but I am going to get this up on my other device so I can see comments and things. So if you are joining me, please do say hello. Let me know that you're here. And if you are watching the replay, thank you for doing so. And I hope you like what I'm sharing with you today. Feel free to leave a comment or send me some love or some thumbs up or something. I always like to see those, and I do always go back and check what's on the replay and the video and stuff, because sometimes I have to go back and figure out why it's not working right. Technology, you know how it goes. Anyway, so it is December the 8th. We're getting closer. Christmas is coming. So, I have pulled out the festive Christmas earrings. Look at that. We have shiny green bows this morning, and they're a good size. They're very lightweight, though. They don't weigh anything, so you don't even notice them on your ears. But my hair does tend to get stuck in them a little bit sometimes. So anyway, feeling festive. 'Tis the season and all that. So let me just move this down. If you have the mini catalog, or you've seen things from the fall mini catalog online, just so you know, last chance. It is some of the products are retiring at the end of this month, and so all those items are on a while supplies last basis only. So if there is something that you've been looking at or thinking about, now is the time to get those things, because they may not be there in a week or two when you go to look again. And the gnomes that were hugely popular, the cute little gnomes, the stamps and the dies, and the paper, and we use the designer series paper a lot for a lot of cards, use them at our Stamp-A-Stack, and I know we played with them a little bit at my weekend retreat, so have used those an awful lot. Anyway, the dies from that set, the gnome dies, will be carrying over into the new year. And sneak peek, there is a gnome set in the new January to April mini catalog, and the dies will coordinate with that. So if the gnomes are something that you have been looking at and thinking about, now is the time to grab them. You can get them at a bundle price. Now, the stamp set is not carrying over. It will retire, but you can keep using it. You will have the dies that coordinate with it, and the dies will also work with the set from the new catalog. So that's very exciting, and we love when things carry over and then there's more than one stamp set that the dies work with. That's always awesome. Okay, let's get to some crafting here. Put this down. I was playing with my camera stand, and now it's all loose and floppy, and well, it's not floppy, but it it sags. So I get it set up, and then by the time I go to use it, it is down. Oh, it's down a good 4 inches from where I started. So I think it's maybe in its resting position for now, and we're okay. But it seems like my lighting is kind of funky too. So hopefully you can see things okay. But let's get started. So this is the card that we are going to make today. And this is an easy card. Oh gosh, look, I did not I did not grab anything to share all this information with you. I am so bad sometimes. Let me just grab my catalog. This designer series paper starts out black and white, and I have just colored it, and it is from the Host pack, this great big package, Celebrate Everything, 48 sheets. So you get 4 sheets of every single pattern in here. And there's some awesome patterns. You've seen these on a number of things that I have done over the fall because I have used this paper a lot. I have a couple of packages of it. One is almost empty, and the other one is I've been into it, you can tell, but there is still some in there. So that's where this paper came from. And as I say, it was a black and white pattern, but I added some color with my Stampin' Blends. And then this decoration is from Spruced Up, the Spruced Up stamp set, and it has coordinating dies and stuff, but I just stamped for this part. And hopefully you can see, look at the shine. It doesn't shine all that well on camera, but it does in real life. And that is Wink of Stella on all of those decorations, just for some extra shine to things. So that's the card. We're going to make it again. So you start with just a thick basic white standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then just folded in half. And then my designer series paper I cut to full card front size. So it is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And so here's one of those black and white trees, just black and white. These are all black and white in this area. But I thought you probably didn't want to watch me color the whole thing. So I thought, well, I'll color some of it to get started. I almost finished it. I got a little carried away. I was having so much fun coloring. So anyway, I did save a few trees, and I haven't done any of the stars yet. So there's a little bit that I can share with you here this morning. So on this card, I used Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. And I used both the light and the dark blends for that. On this card, I have the light and dark Old Olive blends, the light and dark Old Olive, and the light and dark Soft Seafoam. Okay, so just thought I would do this one in a little different color palette. So let me just finish this off. I'm using the brush end. You can use the brush end or the more fine pointy end, whichever you feel more comfortable with. And you may want to use the brush in the middle of some of the larger trees and go to the pointy end for finishing the trunk or into some of the corners. I'm just not quite that fussy with my coloring. So I just use the brush end for all of it, and it works out just fine. A little bit of color to this. Don't forget, when you are coloring with your blends, you want to make sure you have some scrap paper underneath. Now this little itty bitty tree bit here, I will use my chisel end, so just to get that little bit done. Okay. You want to have some scrap paper underneath because, as you can see, the blends do come through. They don't often go onto your next piece of paper, but better safe than sorry. So, okay, then the stars. I had stamped this with crushed curry, and we don't have crushed curry in the blends, but the dark Daffodil Delight blend looks very similar to the crushed curry ink pad. So it works just fine for coloring these little star images. Okay. These are a little smaller, a little more time consuming. So maybe it's a good thing that I colored as many trees as I did. I am using the chisel end for these because these are smaller, so I don't want to go too far outside the lines. So there we go. So we have our designer series paper is ready. So I am just I'm going to use liquid glue because I want it to cover the whole card base, and I may need to wiggle it a little bit. Okay. A couple of things to remember with your liquid multi-purpose glue: be stingy. Okay, it does go a long way, and if you use too much, it will ooze out, and that's not really a good thing. It does dry clear, but it does also dry shiny. So I tend to do this in my hand so that I can kind of hold it up, and then a quick open to see if you have, so it's just a tiny smidge over the top there, but I think we're good at the bottom. So we're just going to give this a nice press. Okay. Make sure that's nice and stuck down. As I have a sip of my now cold coffee. Some people can drink coffee all day long. It doesn't matter if it's hot, warm, cold, whatever. Not me so much. I like my coffee hot. Okay. Now I'm going to bring in, this is the decoration. So the decoration, the ball of the decoration, and the little top hanger piece, a little hard to see because this one's not really stained and it's photopolymer, but they are two different stamps. So that makes it super easy to use two colors. I'm going to use Sweet Sorbet for the decorations, and I'm just going to bring in, this is half of a foam piercing mat. I've just cut it in half and I've covered it with paper from when I'm stamping off the edges. And that gives the little extra cushioning that you need for your photopolymer stamps to get a nice image. So when I'm doing 3, I tend to put the middle one on first. So I'm just going to kind of center that guy, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it somewhat centered. And then I am going to add one above it, and I'm keeping it down close to the other one that I stamped so that I have room above it to put my hanger on. And then one more. Oops, oh my, look at that. Can you see that? Lots of ink on my block, and that's why we keep paper towel handy. If you go straight down and straight up in your ink, you don't get that. Obviously, I did not. And if you do have it, but you go straight down and straight up in your stamping, it won't come onto your card. But if I see it, I do tend to wipe it off just so there's less risk of messing things up. Okay, there we go. We've got that. And so I am finished with the Sweet Sorbet. I'm just going to close that up so we don't have any ink where we don't really want it. I'll give that guy a little clean with my chamois. And then I'm going to bring in my crushed curry ink, and I'm going to add the little hangers for my decorations. Okay. And you want to just have your hanger, I'm sure you can't see where I'm stamping, but I actually have the yellow overlapping the red just a tiny bit so that it's right down on it. You lose a tiny bit of the detail at the bottom, but then you don't have a gap. But if you do stamp and end up with a gap, just pull out your Stampin' Right marker or a blender pen or even your Stampin' Blend and just fill it in, and then your hanger will attach to your decoration once again. Okay, I'm just going to set this up here for a moment, make sure that ink is nice and dry before we move on. And I'm going to bring in a strip of basic white cardstock, and now I have Old Olive ink. I used Evening Evergreen on this one, but my trees were a different color. So this time I want to use Old Olive. And I'm just stamping the word Mary, hopefully straight. Or not. I have a big long strip, so I can do this a couple times. There we go, that's better. And then I'm going to stamp Christmas. Okay. And I'm just going to trim them to size. Okay. Close this up. Maybe. Then you just grab your paper snips and just give it a trim. You can leave some extra cardstock if you want. I've cut mine quite close there. But as I say, it can be however you like. You can banner in, you can cut them on an angle, whatever you would like for your card. So there we go. Okay. And then we're gonna play with the good stuff. So I'm just gonna move these to the side, bring this guy back in, and now I have my Wink of Stella brush. So this is what is going to add our shimmer. So I'm just going to color over the whole decoration here. And I found it easiest to get to the edge on this. I just turn my paper as I go. This angle, it's a little hard to see where I got it off. I think I do. There we go. Let's go over a little more. No such thing as too much shimmer, is there? I think this Wink of Stella is getting down towards the end. I have used it for a long, long time, but it's still putting shine on. So I figured I'll keep going until it stops putting all this fun glimmer on. So Wink of Stella can be used on anything you just want to add some shimmer to. And it is fairly subtle, but you definitely see it in real life. A little bit tricky to show on camera because it is sort of subtle. It's not like our glimmer paper. It's not that bright and glittery, but definitely get some shimmer. See there? I think you can see it on something as I turn it. So there we go. We have our shimmer on there, and now we are ready to assemble the last pieces. So this is my basic white is 3.5 by 2.5, and so my Sweet Sorbet is 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. So just a 1/4 inch larger than my basic white to create a border. Just put that onto here. And then I have popped it up onto my card with dimensionals. Do that again. Oh, these backs off of here. Oop. Backs going everywhere, as is usually the case, right? Don't we find dimensional backings all over the place? They get in between things. Sometimes they get staticky, and then you find them all over the place. Yeah, you can put this wherever you like. I think I'm going to put it right in the center again, as I did on the first part, but you can put it towards the top, towards the bottom, off to a side. Again, whatever you like. Then I'm going to bring in my sentiment, and I'm going to use some mini dimensionals to pop these up. Now, these are both dangling off the edge, so I don't want my dimensional right at the end of my Y, so I'm going to start at the beginning near my Mary, or near my M, and I'm going to put 2 on there, but not right at the edge. And then for Christmas, I'm going to leave this edge with nothing on it. So I'm just going to come over a little bit there so that when it dangles over the edge, it doesn't stick down on the card base because it would be uneven. Okay? Because this piece is on dimensionals. If you were going to have it over the edge a lot and it needed some support, what you would do is you would put 2 dimensionals on the part that's going to be here. So I'd put 2 dimensionals under the Y, and then it would hang, or it would stick evenly. But this just has a tiny bit over the edge, so it doesn't need anything. This down about there. That's great. Set my points probably be easier to tell my sentiment straight. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in these are my these are from the Candy Cane suite. And again, I need to look up the name. I used to know all these things. What happened? It's like I forgot overnight. Adhesive backed seasonal sequins. So they come in 4 colors. You get sweet sorbet, garden green, gold, and white. So I could use sweet sorbet, and I had actually thought about that with the first card. I just thought it was a lot of red. So I thought I would add some gold. So I think I'll do that again. Just grab my take your pick tool. And there are 2 sizes in these. I haven't used a lot of these big ones, so we'll use big ones on this card. And there you have it. Way. So 2 different cards. Well, same card, 2 different colors. You can leave me a comment and let me know whether you like the evening evergreen and soft succulent trees the best, or the old olive and soft seafoam trees the best. I didn't actually end up with a whole lot of the soft seafoam trees showing. They must all be under the center. I wasn't really paying attention to that part, but we certainly have the 2 colors of old olive on there. So there you have it. Cute Christmas card. If you are still crafting Christmas cards, it's time to get going, because Christmas is coming. I've been putting together. I use labels for my addresses, so I've been working on updating that file, and it's getting there. It's coming, but I've been sort of chipping away at it while I also craft and do other things. So I'm getting closer. My cards will go out soon-ish. So all in good time, right? Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me this morning, and I hope you like the cards. I hope you feel inspired and you have an awesome crafting day. Take care, everyone. We will see you all again really soon. Bye for now.